Well, this is the week that spring returned to the Midwest from Cincinnati all the way here to St. Louis. Bright sunshine, warm temperatures, and the Reds heated up yesterday. And we are ready to bring you Game 3 of this 3-game set on Fox Sports Ohio. It's the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, hello, and welcome to St. Louis, everyone, along with the crafty left-hander Chris Welch and Jim Day. I'm George Gray. This guy's smiling because when you put 9 doubles on the board and you pile up a ton of runs, you come home with a victory, and that's what the Reds got.
Yeah, George, the old saying about double plays the pitcher's best friend. Maybe not so if your team hits 9 doubles in a ball game like the Reds did yesterday. I mean, it was deuces galore everywhere, extra base hits every time you looked up, and it's nice to see guys hitting the ball the other way, hitting with some power. That's the kind of thing that really get your offense going.
And Chris, you talk about it, you know, hitting is contagious, and when you add it up, the 9 doubles, the first time the Reds have done that since '99, were spread around. Everybody had a good day.
Well, that's a good thing, because in the clubhouse, that way there's only not 1 or 2 people that are celebrating. It's everybody celebrating a win and their own personal accomplishments, which, of course, if it gets another win today, there'll be a whole lot of celebration on the way back to Cincinnati.
Well, Brandon Finnegan did his share on the mound yesterday, and as you saw, he also had a couple of hits. John Mosca will get that chance today. It's his first start of this year after the shoulder problems of last year. Good to have him back.
It really is. I mean, what you're going to see out of John Mosca is a young man that was drafted in 2012. The 4th round, the Reds picked him out of college in Pepperdine. He's a very polished pitcher. He's not overpowering, but he's got all 4 pitches: fastball, sinking fastball, changeup, curve, even though there's a slider in there too. So he's got 5 if you count 2 fastballs. But if he's got good command today, he can thwart really any offense out there. But he's got to be able to spot that fastball.
And the guy he's going to face, man, he's the real deal. Michael Wacha has been a load against the Reds.
Well, he's also been a pitcher that was drafted in 2012, same as John Mosca. However, he was a first-round pick by the St. Louis Cardinals, and he's very polished. He's really fastball, changeup. His changeup is a swing-and-miss type pitch, and he won 4 games last year against the Reds, by far the most games he won against any team.
Well, yesterday we didn't think the Jay Bruce home run would be as big as it was. It turned out to be the game saver for the Reds. JB drilled a big one. He continues to move up the list of all-time Reds home run hitters. That's and more when we return on Fox Sports Ohio. Sports Ohio is being brought to you by Chevy. Check out our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Hey, feeling good? It's Skyline time. Well, back here in St. Louis, the story of baseball continues to unfold. Two of the greatest franchises in the history of baseball. And all Reds fans know that Johnny Bench, sitting at 389 home runs, has hit more home runs than any Red ever. But climbing up that list is Jay Bruce.
Yeah, little by little. Don't look now that Jay Bruce is going to get you 25 home runs a year, and he's on a pace for more than that already this year. You can see he's hit 3 of them. But he's not a guy that's just going up there looking for the home run. What we're seeing out of Jay Bruce this year is a more polished approach, a guy that is hitting the ball the other way. Yeah, he's going to get his pops out of the ballpark, but I like the way he's getting that batting average up there.
You take a look at the list, and it's a pretty impressive list. Frank Robinson at 324, Tony Perez at 287, Adam Dunn, who was monster home run hitter in his early years with the Reds, Big Clue. George Foster's next on the list for Jay Bruce. And for Jay Bruce, passing Ken Griffey was something that he said was very impressive for a guy that he played with and a guy he respected so well. The story for Jay Bruce is he's impressed by the other people that are on that list.
It's so humbling, and it's I'm very fortunate to be in this position. You're right. When you do think about the people that have come through and worn a Reds uniform and, you know, done the things that they've done in a Reds uniform for this franchise, to be even mentioned in the, you know, conversation is something that I definitely don't take for granted.
He's on a pretty impressive list, and he's respectful of it.
Well, he is respectful of it. That's one thing. Jay Bruce is respectful of the game, and there's a lot of things going on around Jay Bruce's life right now that he's got to control. Some are out of his control, but right now he's worried about Michael Wacha on the mound and John Moscott on the mound for the Reds this afternoon.
I'm sure he's going to save a home run for Hannah and their new baby that'll be coming up later this month. Coming up, John Moscott. JD will tell that story next on Fox Sports Ohio.
Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
I'm Jim Day. John Moscott worked his way the hard way through the Reds system, and then last year got the opportunity of his baseball lifetime, and then it was derailed quickly in Detroit. It was a very weird play in which he started that game, got involved in a rundown in which he decided to try to run the runner back to second base on his own. You see, he came down in a very awkward manner. It was a dislocated, non-throwing shoulder. It required surgery. It ended his season. Then in spring training, he had an intercostal injury. So it's been a long way back, but he is glad for today.
Going into the offseason, I was kind of worried that I wouldn't be as sharp as you know, where I left off last season. But you know, after my last outing, you know, some things mechanically really clicked for me, and I started to feel as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than I was towards the end of last season when I was throwing the ball well. So I'm really excited to get out there and just do what I do.
You were at a point last year where you were ready to show the world what you can do, and then the injury. How excited are you to, I guess it's delayed, but to have that same opportunity?
Yeah, it's well, I'm just thankful for the Reds for kind of sticking with me and being able to give me this opportunity again. You know, I know it's been a while, and it was kind of a freak thing last year, and I'm looking forward to, you know, making the most of it.
And hindsight being 20/20, Moscott says if he ever gets in a similar rundown situation, he'll give up the ball this time. He'll get the ball as the starter today. A tough assignment. Michael Wacha on the hill for the Cardinals. Lineups and first pitch around the corner with George Grant and Chris Welsh on your home for Reds baseball. Fox Sports Ohio.
Here at Busch Stadium #3 in St. Louis, and Brian Price is ready to hopefully take home a series victory against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Reds have been struggling over the last 20 series. They were 4-16 coming in. They'd love to make it #5 here. Here's the lineup that he'll pencil in. Zach Cozart, who's been red hot, is back in the starting spot. He's hit in 7th straight. Eugenio Suarez bats #2. Joey Votto is one of the few Reds that's had success against Wacha, will hit 3rd. Brandon Phillips, who's hit in 7 of his last 8 behind him. Jay Brucer homered yesterday, his 3rd of the year, has 10 homers here in the new Busch Stadium. Mesoraco, Duval, Schebler, and Moscott, that's 1 through 9. Our IGF bringing the energy numbers. Chris, boy, what an impressive start for Zach Cozart. 7-game hitting streak.
You know, it's amazing. You use all fields. You get a couple of breaks on balls that fall in there for you. You mix in a lot of line drives, and all of a sudden you got a great streak growing. Very similar to what he did when he came up as a rookie. But a .480 batting average, that's why he's at the top.
He's facing a tough one here. It is John Moscott going for the Reds and Michael Wacha going for the Cardinals. This big Texan, Chris, is really one big load, and he's been tough against the Reds. He's been tough against the National League.
You know, this is the 4th game out of the last 5. How about Cozart?
Into the right field corner. It'll be 3 hops to the wall, and Zach Cozart rounds first. They'll have another double. The Reds pumped out 9 doubles yesterday, the most that they had had in a game since 1999 against Colorado. And here Cozart continues his heavy hitting.
I'll tell you, you know, he's really swinging a good bat because he's so confident, hitting it very late. I mean, he looks like a right-handed version of Joey Votto, the way he's hitting the ball to the opposite field. Just remarkable start.
Well, Cozart's in scoring position. That's 2-bagger number 5 for him, now an 8-game hitting streak. And here's Suarez. Eugenio in at 326, 4 homers and 10 knocked in. You saw the swing and a miss by Cozart on the first pitch. That's only the 2nd time all year he did not make contact with a swing. He had 45 consecutive swings that ended yesterday making contact. And here's 1 for 2.
I'll take 2 swings and misses in every at bat, George, as long as it's followed by a double.
Not bad at all. Here's Suarez, 2 for 5 against Wacha in his career. Good to get Wacha working from the stretch early. This big right-hander, once he gets into a groove, and he's been in a groove against the Reds, Chris, over his career. He's been tough, and for this year he's a little below where he normally is, but still a big burly right-hander that comes right at you.
Well, when you say big, you're right. 4 of the last 5 games, the Reds have faced a pitcher 6 feet 6 inches tall or taller.
Fouled off and held on to by the catcher today, Eric Fryer. Yadi Molina, given his Gold Glove from last year before the game, will sit at the start of this one. Fryer behind the plate, catching Wacha. On the coaching lines for the Reds, Billy Hatcher down at 3rd as usual. Freddie Benavidez down at 1st. Votto on deck. Reds trying to get an early lead here. Short lead for Cozart. To the right side, fouled, and it'll be out of play.
You know, Wacha doesn't really do a whole lot with his fastball. Obviously, he commands it around the strike zone, but nearly every one of his fastballs is a 4-seam variety. It'll be straight. He pitches up in the zone very effectively, gets a lot of fly balls compared to ground balls. But that main pitch that he gets hitters out on, lefties and righties both, is a changeup.
Against the Reds in his career, he's 5-1 and an ERA of under 2, 1.87. Breaking ball misses, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, Wacha has won 4 straight against the Reds. Did that last year. He won 4 against the Reds last year, 2 against the Pirates, and every other one of his 17 wins came as 1 win against each team he pitched against. So he's not like he's loading up on certain teams and beating them up, except for the Reds.
There's that changeup, and he just misses. So we'll go full 3-2.
Pretty good eye right there by Suarez. That looked like it was going to stay on the plate and just broke outside. One of those pitches that starts as a strike and ends as a ball.
Wacha to the stretch. Cozart off second. Liner to center. That's going to drop for a hit. They will hold Cozart at 3rd, though. Grichuk charging fast. The ball hit hard. No chance for Cozart to score, so the Reds have back-to-back base hits. 1st and 3rd now for Votto.
This pitch looked like it was down and out of the zone, actually nearly down in the dirt. Suarez picks it and goes right back through the middle. I'll tell you, 2 batters, 2 solid contacts made by Reds hitters.
Great read by Grichuk, who came in fast to prevent any chance of Cozart scoring. So here's Joey. Joey, one of the few Reds that have had success against Wacha, 8 for 19 and a homer. In fact, in his career, he's over 300 here at the new Busch Stadium. Not many are. 1st and 3rd for the Reds early with a runner down at 1st. Eugenio Suarez opens up a little room on the right side. They'll play straight away on Votto in the infield and straight away in the outfield. Grichuk shaded a step or 2 now towards left center.
You know, I think one of the reasons why Joey Votto has had a good run of it against Michael Wacha. Wacha is what scouts will call a north and south pitcher. He throws up in the zone and he throws down in the zone. He really doesn't go in and out a whole lot, although we did see a first pitch cutter right there from Wacha. Votto has great plate coverage. As long as you can't get it right on the inner part of the plate, he's going to hit the ball hard.
Oh, baby. They picked the pocket of Suarez, and the Reds base runner erased. Base running mistake from Suarez. He's not going anywhere.
He slipped going back. You see the dirt coming up as he went for some footing and didn't find it.
Ryan Price taking a moment to check back to the clubhouse to Rob Coughlin to see if it's worth challenging.
Well, right now, I mean, there's two sets of emotions going on for Brian Price. One is furious and angry, and the other is, should we check this thing? And evidently the call by Rob Coughlin is no. The umpire got it right. Suarez got it wrong.
So 1 ball and 1 strike to Votto. They'll bring the infield in now. Joey had an infield in situation yesterday with a runner at third. He hit a rocket shot right at second, but Jerko made a tremendous play to rob him of a base hit and hold the runner at third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Joey choking up with 2 strikes. High in the air to left. Cozart is tagging, having difficulty locating the ball is Moss. He gets it, but will have no chance to throw out the runner, and it's a sacrifice fly successfully executed by Votto. Battled a tough pitch, gets a run batted in, his 7th of the year, and the Reds have an early lead 1-0. Impressive. Votto delivers, Cozart delivers, and here comes Brandon Phillips, and with his usual chorus of boos as he steps to the plate, still lingering from the dust up with Yadi Molina. They long ago have settled that between the two of them, but Cardinal fans will never forget it. So the Reds, 2 base running mistakes in the last 2 days. Eugenio Suarez picked off here, and we didn't know until the game was over, and we speculated yesterday when Mesoraco was thrown out trying to steal that somebody missed a sign, and as it turned out, somebody did. Schebler at the plate missed the hit and run sign. So those are the things that infuriate managers and coaches, Chris. There's a looping liner to center. Here comes Grichuk. He got it. Great catch by Randall Grichuk, robbing Phillips of a possible 2-base hit. Grichuk makes a great catch, but the Reds dial it up for a run, lead it 1-0. Cardinals, but they have it after the first half inning. We're going to the bottom of 1. Let's check Mike Matheny's starting lineup. A little bit of a different lineup, but the same at the top. Matt Carpenter, outstanding leadoff hitter, will lead it off for the Redbirds. Stephen Piscotty bats second. With Holiday out of the lineup, Brandon Moss is your left fielder. Grichuk back in center. Matt Adams gets the start at first. Jerko will be the second baseman. Garcia the shortstop. Eric Fryer in for the Gold Glover, Yadi Molina, and Waka the pitcher bats in the number 9 position. That's your Cardinal batting order for Mike Matheny. And on the mound for the Reds, making his belated first start of 2016. First time he's been on the mound since being injured last June. It's John Moscott.
And that would be Jonathan Solomon Moscott, born in Pacific Palisades. He went to high school there, then he ended up going to Pepperdine right down the road there in Malibu, California. 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, curveball, changeup, and slider.
There's Carpenter at 244, a homer, 10 knocked in.
Moscott ought to feel pretty comfortable today because this is a Pacific Palisades
right.
kind of day here in St. Louis.
Let me ask you, of all the college campuses you've seen, is Pepperdine maybe the nicest?
How does anybody say no to Pepperdine?
Wow. I mean, there's some beautiful campuses around the country. Pepperdine's near the top of the list. And some pretty good baseball teams over the years, too. There's Billy Miller down in the first base coach's box, dancing past that ground ball and went past him. Miller's on the coaching lines for the Cardinals, and at third is Chris Maloney. A little bit of a change for the Redbirds. It happened here in the last month. You know, Cheo Jose Aquindo, the 17-year veteran third base coach, the longest standing third base coach in baseball, was always here. He had a knee injury, underwent serious surgery. He's out for the year. So they moved Maloney from first to third. Miller, who was the assistant hitting coach, becomes the first base coach. And we send our best wishes to Jose Aquindo, hoping that he gets well, comes back. He's rehabbing down in Florida. What a great guy, Chris. And the secret weapon, as Whitey Herzog used to call him, and the guy who's destined to be a manager hopefully someday in the major leagues.
Well, you think if he was going to be a manager, he'd have taken that job by now. I'm not really so sure on that, but he certainly is a great baseball guy.
Fly ball to left. Duvall at the warning track will haul it in. One away. Check your four defensive alignment for the Reds. Adam Duvall back in left. With Hamilton out of the lineup, Scott Schebler gets the start in center field. Schebler has had 4 pinch hit appearances, 4 starts in left. This is his 3rd start in center field. And as usual, Jay Bruce in right. Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, Votto across the infield as usual, and Mesoraco behind the plate. There's Schebler, who was charged with an error yesterday on a line drive right at him that glanced off his glove. In fact, that opened the door to a 4-run inning, and the Reds played comeback from there, but he battled back to contribute late in the game and help the Reds come from behind. And one of the few times in the last 2 years that the Cardinals have lost a lead when leading after 2 or 3 innings. Big swing by Piscotty, popped up at his short left. Cozart calling and squeezing, 2 away.
Well, so far so good for John Moscott, using all of his pitches right from the very get-go, changing speeds a little bit, just trying to get the Cardinals off the barrel of the bat. I mean, he's a guy that is really kind of under the radar now as far as pitching prospects coming through the Reds organization. You hear so much more about other guys like, you know, Cody Reed and Nick Travioso and Robert Stevenson and so on. Well, Moscott kind of slipped right in there. Impressive because he's so polished.
Against the shift into short right, bobbled, and that'll go as an error. Doesn't happen often, but against the shift, Phillips has it take a tricky hop off the grass. He'll be charged with his 2nd error of the year, and there's a base runner.
Nothing delights Cardinals fans more than seeing this.
It hit right on the lip of the grass and took a tricky hop in front of the 4-time Gold Glover. So Phillips charged with miscue number 2. And here comes Grichuk, 219, couple of homers and 6 knocked in. That's one of the biggest risks for the second baseman on a hard hit ball when you go into the shift. It's not artificial surface anymore. It's the lip of the infield, and if it hits there, you don't know which way it's going to spin. So Moss is on from the stretch now as Moscott. With Grichuk up, they shift against him. Deep center field, but in the park. Schebler under it. He's got it. So an error, no trouble. We're going to the 2nd. Bruce leads it off. Reds lead 1-0. check your four defensive alignment for Mike Matheny and the Cardinals, who are last in the league defensively. The Cardinals have committed a series of miscues this year. That matters. So have the Reds, uncharacteristically. Moss in left, Grichuk solid in center, Piscotty solid in right, Carpenter, Garcia, Jerko, Adams across the infield, and Fryer behind the plate. That's your St. Louis Cardinals four defensive alignment. Here's Jay Bruce, homered yesterday, showing bunt this time, and against the shift he fouls it off. Jay in at 310, now 3 homers and 12 knocked in. And when you look at numbers, yeah, everybody does. You don't even have to look at numbers if you're Jay Bruce. He's never had a hit against Waka, 0 for 21. So why not try a bunt? Here's a rip to right, going back, looking up, reaching up. Piscotty has it. Right on that one, and that was very similar to the home run swing he had yesterday, Chris. This one just didn't have enough juice.
Well, you're right, George. It was a humpback line drive. For a moment there, Jay Bruce thought he may be getting that first hit off of Michael Wacha. Hooking, but a nice play by Piscotty.
On away, and here's Mesoraco. He comes in after double and walk yesterday. This one hit to left, but it'll curve foul down the left field line. Hit a ton to left.
I'll tell you, the Reds are making tremendous contact so far against Michael Wacha. He's not fooling anybody. I mean, when he pitched his season opener for him on April the 5th, he gave up 10 hits in that ball game. The Cardinals ended up losing the game in 11 innings. On Monday, he pitched and he struck out 7, gave the Cardinals 6 shutout innings.
Strike 1 to Mesoraco.
But he's not fooling a whole lot of guys right now. Even the outs are hard ones.
You play the Cardinals, you know you're going to play a team that's well prepared. Here's the 0-2. Dribble down to third. Hustling is Mesoraco. The throw will be in time. They get him by a half a step. What a hustle job by Carpenter and Mesoraco both. Our Elk and Elk storylines for today. You come to St. Louis, it's been tough to score runs for the Reds, but boy, yesterday's offense, a 4-game losing streak. They scored 9 runs during that whole losing streak. They scored 9 yesterday. 9 doubles yesterday, the most they've had in a game since 1999, tying a team record. Our Elk and Elk storylines. Elk and Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Here's Duvall. He's hit in 6 straight. Adam in at 292. Hard, fair ball down the line. It'll kick off the siding and rounding first, going to second. And it's the second double for the Reds already today after those 9 yesterday. Well, Duvall continues his heavy hitting. He's now hit in 7 straight.
I mean, he really swings the bat hard, Duvall does. He's opening up a little bit this year, meaning opening up the entire field more, but he takes a pitch in on the hands and gets it fair down the line. I mean, look at the forearms on that guy. You shake hands with him, and it's like shaking hands with a cinder block. I mean, big, strong hands and forearms.
Moscott due up next, so with Schebler coming up, they will walk him intentionally and deal with Moscott. But so far the Reds have been right on walk. You know, you play the Cardinals and you know Mike Matheny has a game plan, when just like La Russa and Duncan, they always, you know, pitched their plan to perfection. And here with Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, that hasn't changed. But the real wild card when you face the Cardinals was the guy behind the plate, Yadi Molina. It's like another pitching coach who's in the game all the time, both emotionally and mechanically. He's in with his pitchers. For Eric Fryer, it's a whole different story. Trying to fill the shoes of that guy who picked up his Gold Glove from last year before the game today and received a standing ovation from the fans here. So here's Moscott trying to help himself with 2 on and 2 out. Big swing down the third baseline. It'll go foul. This is like a yearly occurrence here, Chris, isn't it?
Well, you mean a Gold Glove for Yadi Molina? Yeah, and he deserves it. And if you could give a Gold Glove and a Leadership of a Team award at the same time, I mean, he'd have his arms full and a backpack on too, because he means that much to this ball club. This is the first time that Waka has pitched this year where he has not had Molina behind the plate.
A Rawlings Gold Glove and a Platinum Glove to boot. The Gold Glove, of course, given to the best player at a position, and the Platinum Glove, he's won that 3 of the 4 times as the best, period. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 on and 2 out. Well, Waka gets out of it by striking out the pitcher. That's his first strikeout. The Reds strand a pair, still lead at 1-0 going to the bottom of 2.
Made his first rehab start for Louisville at AAA. 3 innings, 3 runs. Reds not necessarily concerned about those numbers after back surgery. No problems whatsoever reported for John Lamb as he builds up his stamina. Continues to be good news with Homer Bailey. Threw 3 innings, 51 pitches yesterday at the Goodyear spring training facility for the Reds in extended spring training, and now the real rehab starts. He will be in somewhere in the Reds minor league system. Brian Price wants to see him go 4 innings, 5 innings, and then 6 innings. So it could only be 3 rehab starts in the minor leagues for Cincinnati, and then he will be up with the big club. Now, yesterday, guys, Brian Price got some excellent reviews on Homer throwing yesterday at Goodyear. Said the velocity was exactly where they want it through all his pitches. I mean, they had glowing reports from Homer Bailey. It has really been an unimpeded comeback from Tommy John so far.
Good news, JD. On top of it, as usual, and Chris, of course, as Matt Adams steps in to face Moscott to lead off the second on this trip, is Walt Jocketty, as Dick Williams as well. And after the game yesterday, they updated the situation surrounding all those pitchers that are rehabbing, and you know, there hopefully is light at the end of the tunnel as you get these guys back.
Well, that's why when we say, George, that this pitching staff is kind of fluid and it's going to change throughout the season. It'll certainly change when they get Homer Bailey back. You expect to get DeSclafani back. John Lamb is on the mend. I mean, you're hoping for the other guys who were supposed to be on this pitching staff to get healthy and get back here. Meanwhile, you got some young prospects pitching their way up. It's a good situation.
Matt Adams bounces out to the third baseman Suarez against the shift. 1 away, and here comes Jed Jerko. And realistically, as you look at it, and you talked about it during spring training when you and Tom were doing the games, and when you had Walt on and Dick on both, it's probably going to take, with all the injuries and everything that's transpired, it's going to take a couple of months for all this to sift down to decide who's going to be in your rotation and who might be bumped to the bullpen. So this bullpen could look very different Fly ball center field, going back, looking up. It's going to be gone. Boy, Jerko quietly has been a star in this series. A couple of great defensive plays and a big swing right there ties this one up. Jerko's second home run of the season ties this game at 1.
Well, Jerko was signed over the offseason, and they brought him over here in a deal for John Jay so that he could play every once in a while at third base, spell some relief for Matt Carpenter, give Colton Wong some time off. But the way he's played the last couple of days, he just killed the Reds. He made several terrific defensive plays yesterday, and this line shot out the center field ties the ball game.
Trying to bunt his way on as Garcia fouls it off. And you know, there was a moment there, Chris, as you looked at Moscot. That was one of those plays. You've been there. A little pop bunt. Do you dive for it after his shoulder surgery? You wonder what was going through his mind at that moment.
Well, they probably couldn't have got it, but I think that your instincts take over.
Broken bat, leaping effort, over the effort of Phillips into right, a base hit for Garcia. Back-to-back hits, a homer and a single, and that'll bring up Fryer.
Number 59, catcher Eric Fryer.
So 1 on, 1 out. Here comes the Cardinal catcher with Waka, the pitcher, due up next. Double play depth, middle of the infield for the Reds.
This has got to be kind of a thrill for Eric Fryer. After all, he was raised in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, which is just east of Columbus, a little suburb over there. Went to the same high school that his manager, Mike Matheny, went to, Reynoldsburg High. Then went on to Ohio State. Grew up a Reds fan. Watched the Reds on TV for years and years. Told him before the ball game I was happy that we didn't ruin him, because we're talking about your day too, George. And just a very nice and delightful young man, signed to a minor league deal this winter time back in November, and here he is on the big league ball club right now.
And talking to Mike Matheny about him, he is so impressed by his mental approach, the way he plays the game, the way he is into the pitching staff. And of course, Brian Pena is on this staff. You know, Eric wouldn't be here if Pena was healthy right now, but he's getting the opportunity. Pena out with a knee injury, will hopefully be back sometime next month, but he's making the most of it, and given an opportunity, he's taken full advantage of it. And Matheny said, no, it's not nepotism. He's earned his way all the way up. He may be from Reynoldsburg, but he deserves to be up here, and everybody that's watched him play, seen him play, knows why he's up here.
Well, it's kind of funny because when Mike Matheny went to Reynoldsburg and had to make a decision about where he would go to college, he ended up going to University of Michigan because Ohio State never recruited him. Well, Fryer was recruited by Ohio State.
There goes the runner, fouled off.
And he was also recruited by Michigan, amongst a lot of other Midwest schools. And Ohio State was the one school that told Eric Fryer, well, we're not going to make you an outfielder. We're going to let you be a catcher. In high school, he was a catcher and a pitcher, and he liked the fact that he was going to be a catcher for the Buckeyes. That's where he was, and that's where he ended up being drafted and getting his start in pro ball.
Probably the decision for Mike Matheny more than anything as Moscot goes to the stretch. Here's the 1-2. Runner not going this time. That's down low. Now, Bill Freehan was the coach at Michigan then when he went there, and he still credits Bill Freehan, the former Tiger catcher and a tremendous tutor of young players as well as catchers, with making him potentially a major leaguer. Said he taught him so much about the game, so much about handling pitching, so much about the mental side of the game. Moscot to the stretch. Here's the 2-2. Line drive, right field. That's going to be a base hit. Long run for Bruce. Garcia around second, going to third. They're going to send him, and he's going to wheel his way all the way to the plate and score. By the time Bruce got to it, perfectly placed by Fryer, Garcia was already halfway to third. Maloney sends him, and the Cardinals have taken a 2-1 lead. A double for Fryer.
Well, good base running by Garcia. Had a nice secondary lead. Read this obviously as a base hit the whole way. And he was figuring as soon as that ball's hit, I may score on this. So if you let up at all as a runner, the third base coach is going to have to hold you. Now, they waved him right around. Maloney did. And just like that, the Cardinals have taken the lead.
So here's Waka now with a runner on second. Still only one out in the inning. Waka looking for his first hit of this year. Now back to Matheny and Bill Freehan. I asked him once, what was the most important thing he taught you? He said, he told me to learn Spanish. He said, you're going to, at some point, they hold the runner, get the out at first, 2 away. He said, if you get to the major leagues, you're going to catch a lot of Spanish-speaking pitchers. If you can speak Spanish and communicate with them, it's going to help you be a leader in your clubhouse. And he did.
Good advice.
Walker retired, 2 away, back to the top of the order. Carpenter.
I've always thought that was the one thing that really helped Barry Larkin mesh himself as a team captain when he was with the Reds, by being able to communicate with his Latin teammates in their own language.
And he did it on his own.
I wish I had learned in my years of winter ball, George, learning more Spanish than just figuring out how to order a beer.
Cerveza, huh? That was the only Spanish word you knew. A Mexican word that you turned into a universal language.
Wow. If you use it enough, you figure it out.
Ozzie Guillen always told the story with Kirby Puckett when he first came up. He went to breakfast every day with Kirby. The only English he knew was ham and eggs. And every time he went to the restaurant, he just ordered ham and eggs, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It worked. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carpenter fouls it off. Carpenter flying to left first time up. Sitting out at second is Fryer after his run scoring double. Moscott trying to keep it right where it is. Just missing inside, says the home plate umpire for today, Paul Nauert. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, is down at first. Ron Culpa at second, and Gabe Morales, your third base umpire. Reds head home after today for the Colorado Rockies and the Cubs coming in. Cardinals stay here and they'll face the Cubs. Missing on the outside corner.
That's a very important pitch for John Moscott, to be able to get the hitters off his fastball. That changeup that he throws is right around 82 to 84 miles an hour. This is fastball topping out in the low 90s. You got to have some separation, but you've got to have location with that changeup.
Short lead for Fryer. Great spot. Full count, 3-2.
There's the changeup again. I like them going back to back right there, because sometimes, you know, you want to throw it 2 times in a row. If you feel like you didn't throw a good one the first time, your muscle memory helps you throw the second one a lot better. It's like getting that mulligan in golf. How often do you hit that baby right down the middle? Every time.
Good karma. Full count, 3-2. Dribble to the right side. Votto charging. Scoops to Moscott, and that'll do it. But the damage done. A homer by Jerko. Run scoring double from Fryer. Cardinals lead 2-1. Cozart to lead it off. every Sunday Reds home game. You can get up to 3 half-price tickets when you purchase a full-price ticket. Plus, don't miss kids-only giveaways, live mascot races, face painters, games, and a whole lot more. Bring the family to the ballpark for the next Family Sunday game. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/family. Here's Cozart back in the leadoff spot. Second time up, second time leading off. He started the Reds with a double to right his first time up, and scored on the sacrifice fly from Joey Votto to give the Reds a 1-0 lead. 8-game hitting streak for the Reds shortstop. They play him straight away. One and two from big number 52. Hopper down to short. Garcia takes care of Cozart. One away.
Amazing. Cozart did not hit a ball on the barrel of the bat. That's the first time for him in a long time.
He is human, huh? Here's Suarez, single to center. That sent Cozart to third after his double, and then he was picked off first back in the first inning. High fly ball to right. Cruising over there is Piscotty. And quickly 2 away.
First baseman, Joey Votto.
Here comes Joey. Went down 0-2, battled back and lifted a sacrifice fly to left first time up to plate Cozart and give the Reds a 1-0 lead. Hit hard to right. Piscotty back in his tracks, got it. Votto's been right on it, but nothing to show for that. It's a quick 1-2-3. Moscot back to face Piscotty. Join Mo Egger from 700 WLW for the Reds fan cam this Friday night at Holy Grail. It's your chance to answer Reds trivia, win great prizes, be part of Reds Live. Party starts at 6 this Friday at the Holy Grail. Hope you join us at the new ballpark by the river, Great American Ballpark, as the Reds head home after today's game. They'll head to the airport, fly home, and then the Colorado Rockies are in for night games Monday, Tuesday, day game Wednesday, and a night game on Thursday against the Cubs, as the Cubbies come in for 4 Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Cubs will be here starting tomorrow, and it'll be very interesting to see the way Jason Hayward is welcomed here. Not often you see a former Cardinal booed, but talking to people around here after what transpired in the offseason, he's going to be in for an unwelcome welcoming. Here's Piscotty, popped to short first time up. Great rivalries. Cardinals Cubs have always been a big rivalry. Cardinals Reds heated up over the years for different reasons. There always was a rivalry between Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker, and after the Brandon Phillips Yadi Molina dust up, that intensified things a bit. And it's been great this weekend, Chris. So many Reds fans, because it's a weekend series early. A lot of Reds fans either drove up or flew up. You see them walking around downtown and at the ballpark. Well represented here. Full count, 3-2 to Piscotty. And they've been blessed with pretty good weather. April, you don't know whether you're going to have the raincoats on or the short sleeves. It's been short sleeves all 3 days. You look at the Reds uniforms, of course. We honor the late great Bernie Stowe, and on various Cardinal uniforms this year as well, they're honoring the great Joe Garagiola, who passed away, the former Cardinal and the guy who's been so much a part of Cardinal history. Had a wonderful service for Joe this past week. There's Bernie's patch. And everybody we've seen here, Chris, offering condolences to Rick and the whole family. Everybody loved to come down to the clubhouse and see Bernie. One of the highlights of coming to St. Louis is always watching Bernie and Joe Nuxhall eat liverwurst. Nobody else ever wanted it, right?
Don't forget the onions.
Oh boy,
the raw onions.
Oh man, fly ball to center.
Nuxhall used to eat those big onions like they were apples. I never saw anything like it.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Or smelled anything like it.
But he topped it off with about a half-gallon ice cream when he was finished, though. Jerry Risch, the visiting clubhouse guy, always had his liverwurst ready for them. Jerry, of course, retired this year after 50 years in the Cardinal visiting clubhouse. And we wish him the best in retirement. Here's Brandon Moss, reached on the error by Phillips as they overshifted to the right side on this predominantly pull hitter, and a ground ball to Phillips hit the lip of the grass and glanced off his glove.
Moss is one of those hitters that starts with a very wide open stance, but he does get himself leveled out or squared up right back to the pitcher. Watch his front foot. That's a foot with that protective guard on it. He does that so he gets his eyes on the ball a little bit better, but when he does get back to a very normal hitting position when the ball's underway, that time didn't quite get back to perfectly squared up, but still the place to pitch him is down and away. You show him in and then you got to go back out away. Anything in off the plate, he's probably going to pull foul. Take another look at it, this time from behind the scene, where, I mean, that's not a big stride, but he covers a lot of ground laterally in the batter's box.
Mesoraco holds on, and there's 2 away.
A little life on that fastball there from Moscott.
Four-seamer up high. First strikeout for John Moscott, and here comes Grichuk, who flied to center first time up.
You know, John's got to feel like this is an opportunity that is a perfect timing for him. I mean, he was strained. He had the intercostal strain to start the season, or he should have been in the rotation from the very get-go. But when you see other guys on the disabled list, and you know that they are eventually coming back. I mean, Homer Bailey is on his way. Evidently, the reports are fabulous about him. DeSclafani is on his way. John Lamb is on his way. You know, this opportunity doesn't last forever. So you've got to take every opportunity that you get and take advantage of it. Dig your cleats in. Say, I'm the one of these guys that you do want in the rotation.
1 ball, 1 strike. The Cardinals center fielder popped back and out of play.
This isn't just one of those emergency starts for John Moscott. I mean, they've been waiting for him to come back here and do that. You know, as compared to Tim Melville, for instance, he didn't know how many starts he was going to make up here. As it turned out, he made 2 because DeSclafani did not come back off the list as soon as they originally thought. But Moscott's going to be given a chance to stick.
And of course, John was part of that group of 9 rookie pitchers who combined for 110 rookie starts for the Reds, a record. So he got his feet wet last year, and they had hoped that he might have a full season last year until he injured his non-throwing shoulder on that play at second base trying to tag a runner in June.
Well, as it turned out, he had only 3 starts with the Reds last year, so he's obviously still has rookie status. Had a couple of rehab starts. One very good, one not so good down in the minor leagues, but he's thrown the ball pretty well here so far today.
Down to third, and as you heard Jim Day say, you know, on the fast track, John Lamb, who started his rehab and yesterday out in Arizona, Homer Bailey. And when Walt Jocketty, Dick Williams, and Brian Price huddled after yesterday's game, I mean, they've got it penciled in. So by the middle of May, the hope is that we'll see all of them in the rotation if everything goes as planned. 2 balls, 2 strikes. High in the air, but off the end of the bat to left. Duvall there. He'll squeeze it. That'll do it. Nice bounce back inning for John Moscott. 1, 2, 3. Phillips will lead it off when we return. Third, thanks to John Morrell, the first 25,000 fans receive a Vinomatic Super Bobblehead. For tickets to see your Redlegs take on the Cubs for as low as $12, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com today. Here's Brandon, fly ball to center, first time up, robbed of a hit on a diving catch by Randall Grichuk. I'll play him straight away. Good day yesterday for Brandon. 2 doubles. His first double tied the game in the 5th. His second double in the 6th gave the Reds an 8-4 lead. Not often that the Reds have come back against the Cardinals the way they did yesterday, piling up 9 runs with 9 doubles and what proved to be a very important home run by Jay Bruce in the 9th inning that gave him a 9-6 lead, and they held on for a 9-8 victory. Bounce back through the middle, bobbled by Garcia, and Phillips will be on. Garcia got there perfectly, and it looked like he might have even taken his eyes off the ball a little bit. Good footwork, great positioning, but it'll go as an error. So the Reds get a leadoff hitter on, and here's Jay Bruce. Bruce lined to right first time up. Strike, says Paul Nauert. Short lead for Phillips. 2 stolen bases for him on the year. Knocked down by Waka. Can they beat him to first? And it's thrown away. Phillips will go to third. They'll turn him and send him. They're going to send him. Here comes the runner to the plate. Phillips will score, and Bruce will be on at second. Well, a great stop by Waka to prevent the ball from going through. Then he probably should have put it in his pocket. Thanks for the Reds. He throws it away, and Phillips, running all the way from the get-go, sent by Billy Hatcher, and the Reds have tied this one at 2.
Well, 2 errors and 2 batters in this inning have really gotten this thing going for the Reds. Waka figures, you know, he doesn't even stand around and look at first base, and you can't do that. You've got to have a little timer in your heads thinking, do I have time or don't I have time? And if he throws it on the money, he's still not going to get Bruce, but he wouldn't have thrown it down the line. So the Reds take advantage of some miscues here by the Cardinals, and a big crowd very silent.
Well, it'll go as an infield hit for Jay Bruce. That's his first hit ever against Waka. And then the arrow allows him to go to second and the run to score, so no run batted in. Now you get your first hit against somebody any way you can. Here's Mesoraco, bounced out first time up. Bruce in scoring position, still nobody out. Great job going the right side. Here comes Bruce around third. Hatcher's going to send him. He'll score, and the Reds now lead at 3-2. Mesoraco coming up with his second key hit in the last 2 days. A big double yesterday that started a rally for the Reds. And here Matheny marking down on his scorecard the 2 errors that proved to be disastrous in the inning.
I'll tell you, the way the Reds are swinging the bats, and that was almost like a double pump for Mesoraco. He hitched, and then he double hitched, and then he finally hit that ball through the open side of the infield. But this is a batting coach's dream, the way they're hitting the ball the other way, the way they're not over swinging, the way they're not chasing a lot of pitches out of the zone. I mean, there's got to be a big smile every night on the face of Don Long with the way these guys are kind of executing a plan that he's been preaching for quite a while.
Don Long, after the game last night, said, you know, a hitting coach's dream is doubles, and he got 9 of them. I mean, home runs are home runs, but doubles, hitting coaches love those. So now the Reds still have a runner on, still nobody out, and there is the Reds hitting coach.
Well, home runs are miss-hit doubles.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, if you hit it really on the button, it's a line drive and it stays in the ballpark. If you just miss-hit it underneath a little bit but get a lot of it, those are the homers. Of course, backspin helps.
That's up high. Ken Griffey Sr. always told Junior, hit the ball hard where it's pitched, just hit it somewhere, try to hit a double, and you'll end up with homers. And I guess he did, huh? All the way to the Hall of Fame.
Some guys have that unique talent.
Yep. And great bloodlines, too. 3-2 Reds. Broken bat down to third. They'll get 1 at second. The return to first. Yes, they turn 2. Carpenter unloaded it fast, and Duvall is doubled up. So 2 away, and the base runner erased.
Center fielder, Scott Shepard.
I mean, the Reds situation is Scott Schebler due up, and they're looking for him. As you see Brian Price saying, where is he? Something's going on. They're going to review it. look pretty close. Tough from that angle, Chris. Looks safe from there, huh?
Boy, hard to tell, you know, George. I say this a lot. I know that there's somebody sitting at home with a 60-inch TV, maybe one of those 4K TVs. If they could just tweet out safe or out, we could go with it, because I'm looking at kind of a small monitor up here. You can't put a big TV in a TV booth.
I will say, hey, over the old days when we first started doing games, these are a lot better than the ones we used to have.
At home they were looking at the same. At home they were looking at the same size. You know, they were 6 inches wide, the screen, and the thing weighed 50 pounds. Well, in New York, I've been in that command center where they do all the reviews, and it is exceptional when it comes to the amount of electronics and the visual ability to see these things slowed down to the microsecond.
You're heading back to New York after this homestand. You gonna go back there?
All right, I'm getting some tweets and some text right now, George, and the at-home viewers from Cincinnati are saying safe based on high-resolution TVs.
From that view from center field, it does look like he's safe. They're taking some time. The view from behind first, hard to tell, but the view from center field looked very much like the foot was on the bag before the ball hit the glove.
Remember, they have to have a good enough view in order to reverse the call.
Brian Price looked like he was going to reach out and grab Schebler and say, don't go to the batter's box.
Oh, back of the glove, I think, is the way they read it. We'll see what they say. Out.
Out. So the double play erases the runner. And Brian Price's challenge is unsuccessful. Huh. So here comes Schebler, intentionally walked first time up. With Moscott in the on-deck circle. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Reds, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Cardinals. 3 errors already today. And these two teams, and the Reds, of course, were one of the best defensive teams in all of baseball last year. They both have committed an inordinate number of errors in the early going. Reds, of course, had that rough weather in Chicago, which didn't help, and even at home.
I think it was rough for both teams.
Yeah. But defensively, not where you expect them to be. And the Cardinals have struggled defensively for the first 2 weeks of the season. Two. Got him. The Reds get 2 errors to start the inning, parlay that into 2 runs, and they lead it 3-2.
to be Jake Arrieta. 8 shutout innings yesterday versus Colorado. The Reds will see him this week upcoming. Andrew McCutchen, first home run of the season yesterday. Pittsburgh ended a losing streak, and the Milwaukee Brewers are riding a roller coaster ride so far this season. And today in Pittsburgh, Pirates and Brewers going at it. And how about a blast from the past? Check out the Pirates unis. They're going to wear these each and every Sunday of their home games, going back to the 1970s. Reminds me of John Candelaria, Kent DeCalvey with those flat top striped hats. What do you think of the look, boys, bringing it back?
I love it. Willie Stargell, Bill Madlock.
I don't know about
Pops.
you. That look scares me because they were a fearsome team. They had some large and mean human beings on that team.
Company. How about the big hammer they had in the on-deck circle?
Sledgehammer.
The sledgehammer.
I mean, talk about intimidation factors. Half the guys, when we went through there my first year on the Padres, half the guys on my team couldn't even pick that thing up. They're swinging it with one arm.
Daryl Thomas needed 2 people to help him pick it up. By the way, I did see Daryl Thomas last year at a banquet in Los Angeles. It was good to see DT.
Good.
Still a character. I remember asking, as Matt Adams steps in against John Moscott to lead off the 4th, asking Chuck Tanner about Willie Stargell once, and he said, Willie Stargell? His name says it all. There's a liner to right, sinking, Bruce, got it. Great first step by Jay Bruce. Closes on it and robs Adams of a base hit.
Second baseman, yes.
Well, you're right about the first step, because balls that are humpback line drives, you know, you've got to make a decision quick. And if you decide to go for it and then you realize, uh-oh, I'm not going to get to the spot, sometimes that ball can short hop you and go all the way to the wall. You're playing deep off of Adams anyway.
Although looking at their alignment, it's kind of because Adams has started to go a little bit to left field. I mean, in right, they used to be pulled into the corner, and he was a couple of steps towards right center. Same thing in center. Back to Tanner, he said, Willie Stargell, it's his name, Star. And he's a star. He's a star on the field. He's a star off the field. Pops. 2 away on the ground out. Jerko retired. After his homer, tied the game in 1 in the second. He's now 1 for 2.
You know, John Moscott hasn't really pitched enough at the major league level to qualify him and describe him as either a fly ball or a ground ball pitcher. Based on looking at his stuff, he's better off with the pitches down in the zone, although he has shown us some life on a high fastball. I think if he has Brian Price, he would rather see him down there around the knees than anywhere else.
Here's Garcia. Reached on a base hit his first time up. That's past Phillips into right. One on, 2 out, and here comes the catcher Fryer, who doubled in a run back in the second.
Boy, Fryer, what a start he's off to in limited playing time. He's 4 for 4 this year.
You got to have somebody take a picture of the screen. You know, you talk often about the scoreboards. You know, and when you pitch, they didn't have radar gun ratings.
Thank goodness.
That's right. But when you got 1,000 showing on the scoreboard, you want somebody to take a picture, send it home, right?
They're probably saying it must be a misprint. Very likable young man.
Oh, great
Had a
young
nice
man.
conversation with him before the game today, and one of the few Cardinals that showed up in the clubhouse during the media visitation time. And a lot of ball clubs are like that now.
He's enjoying every minute here. 1 ball, no strikes after his double to right first time up. down at Maloney for a sign. Nothing moving. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Reds 3 runs on 5 hits and an error. The Cardinals 2 runs, 4 hits and 2 errors. Short lead for Garcia down at first. Not going. And how about this? Another base hit for Eric. Fryer delivers a base hit. So 2 2-out hits. There's 2 on, and that'll get Waka to the plate with 2 outs.
Yeah, and that's the reason why it is such a big hit. You get the pitcher to the plate. Waka can handle the bat, but he's not an everyday player. But Eric Fryer. That hit was for everybody who forgot to take the picture of the scoreboard last time up.
Here's Moscot to the stretch against Waco. Grounded to third first time up. Here's another dribbler down the line. This one will turn foul. Talk about scoreboards. I remember when you and I played a joke on Leo Mazzoni when Mike Morgan was pitching for the Reds at the old ballpark at Synergy Field, and Leo Mazzoni came out to warm up a pitcher. We had him put on the scoreboard. Brian Hunterman was working the scoreboard with the guys back then. We had today's pitcher, Leo Mazzoni, and he walked out and looked up and he started running around trying to get somebody with a camera to take a picture of it. He got a picture. He did. Pretty good pitching coach, huh? Many years the Braves pitching coach under Bobby Cox. Here's the strike 1 delivery. Sliced down to second. They'll take the out at first, and that'll do it. So 2 2-out hits, nothing to show for it. Reds holding on to a 3-2 lead. Moscot due up. Now being brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on United States News Best Children's Hospital. And don't forget, Reds head home after today's game here in St. Louis. Rockies coming to town, then the Cubs. And April in the Ohio continues tomorrow night as the Reds return to face the Rocks. Game time 7 p.m. And as always, Reds Live gets things started half hour before each game. April in the Ohio is presented by Meyer. I'm going to get a look at this Colorado Rockies team, Chris. As usual, they're hitting a ton. Trevor Story, the 7 home runs and 13 runs batted in early. Nolan Arenado, you saw him out in spring training. He hit like 800 in spring training. He hasn't stopped. And Carlos Gonzalez, I mean, he's healthy, and it's showing, isn't it?
I'm a little surprised he's still with that ball team. I know he's making a lot of money and so on. Maybe people don't think that his numbers are going to translate to their home park outside of Denver, but that guy can hit. And when he's healthy, he is just a really good baseball player.
Here's John Moscot, struck out his first time up. By the way, he did get a hit last year, so he already has his first major league hit. How about the story of Story during the first week? Man, now he came down to life yesterday. I think he had 3 strikeouts in last night's game, but what a week. What a way to start. That's a strikeout of Moscott. He strikes out for the second time, and it's the 3rd strikeout for Waka with 1 out here in the 5th. And here comes Cozart, 1 for 2 at double, and he scored in the 1st. If you had to draft a player right now and you're starting a team other than pitchers, I mean, Nolan Arenado is unbelievable.
He is.
He just is. I mean, defensively, he's at the top of his game, maybe the best in all of baseball. Offensively, and I mean, he had more homers on the road than he did at home last year, so he's not a Colorado Rocky product of home run hitting.
Yeah, I mean, if Trout and Harper weren't on the board, I'd probably go with him.
As a third baseman, he'd be at the top of your list.
No doubt about it.
Ripped down the line. It is a foul ball. You know, sometimes you win a title, a team gets better, or you win an award and a player gets better, and you almost have the feeling that Bryce Harper is even better this year. I mean, he's come into his own after the MVP year of last year. His confidence, the way he carries himself, he's always been a confident player, but at the plate it looks like he's 1 step ahead of most pitchers.
I think he will really be helped by playing for Dusty Baker too. I mean, Dusty played with a lot of great players. I mean, not to mention Hank Aaron, for goodness sakes, but I mean, he will give Bryce Harper maybe a little different perspective as a manager than Bryce has heard before, and I think that will help him mature and become even better.
Blooped into left, and that's another base hit for Zach Cozart. An 8-game hitting streak, another multi-hit game. He's 2 for 3, and the Reds have a runner on. Man, what a start.
Third baseman, Eugenio Suarez.
You talk often about pitching mechanics and simplifying those mechanics to make yourself the most efficient pitcher you could be. Boy, Cozart has simplified his mechanics.
Well, a lot of that is simply keeping his head still. You know, you look back on the bad swings that Zach Cozart had, especially in 2014, because he had a bunch of them. He would be drifting out over his feet with his head. He would be lunging forward. He never really was able to keep his body solid. And if you can do that alone, you're going to make yourself a better hitter.
Here's Suarez, single to center, but then was picked off in the 1st, and he flied to right 2nd time up. Reds getting Waka to work out of the stretch again here in the 5th. They got a run in the 1st and 2 in the 4th, and lead it 3-2. And close. One runner already picked off by Waka.
They're trying to wear Cozart out.
Yeah. A little bigger lead. Not going.
George, I'm going back and looking at my Twitter account, seeing all the people that tweeted in about that particular review play, and half are saying safe, half are saying out. I did get a couple of screenshots, though, that looked like he was actually out, and then a couple that looked like he was safe. So I can see why the folks up at the MLB headquarters had such a hard time.
Well, that's your Twitter story. JD's downstairs, and he's always got his Twitterland followers dialing in. JD, what's your verdict?
I believe he was out, but there's mixed reviews out there, as always.
Yeah, it was a close one. It's whether or not it's in the back of the glove or not that
that gray area. That's why the call stood, I'm sure.
There goes Cozart. It's a fly ball down the right field line. Cruising over is Piscotty. He'll get it. And back to first comes Cozart.
You know, the one thing you really don't notice a lot about this stadium when you first walk in, there is a lot of foul territory here that other ballparks don't have. It's got more foul territory down the lines than does Great American Ballpark. The fans do not sit as close. Where that tarp is in Cincinnati, much closer to the fair line than where you are right here.
Helps your pitchers, huh?
Well, just another reason I like Great American Ballpark.
And the old Emmy, you wondered the places like Oakland, and Oakland still has a lot of room, but there are very few of those stadiums that have a lot of foul territory that gave a lot of pitchers outs on foul pops. Here's Joey. Votto sacrifice fly, knocked in a run in the first. He lined out in the third to right field. JD, by the way, what's your count on Twitter now? You and you passed Beaver a long time ago, huh?
No chance at all. No, mine are minuscule compared to his. I don't know, 33,000, something like that, maybe.
That's pretty good.
George, how many do you have? I mean, we got you away from the flip phone. I mean, you're certainly on Twitter by now, right?
No,
smartphone? No,
never going to happen.
Funny you brought up Bieber, George, because Justin Bieber is coming to St. Louis to perform. Half his crew was already up in the area where the Reds stay here in St. Louis, and I understand he sent his dog ahead with the dog handler, and the dog has its own room and evidently liked to bark all night.
Not next to you, huh?
No, I'm not on that floor. I didn't qualify for the canine floor.
This will be a year when Paul McCartney's coming to St. Louis for a concert. Boy, what a great job the Reds did when they brought McCartney, when Phil Castellini brought McCartney to Cincinnati. That was a tremendous concert. Votto drills it, but caught by Jerko. Now the Reds had a base runner, nothing to show for it in inning number 5. We're going to the bottom of 5. Carpenter will lead it off.
Set to catch 4 from John Moscott behind the plate. The Reds up on the Cardinals by 1, bottom of the 5th inning. The game ended yesterday on an unusual play. We didn't really get to talk about it because we were so excited about the Reds win. But with Diaz at the plate, looking for the 27th out. He pops it straight up in front of home plate. And look at Mesoraco, who runs into the batter, who stands right in his way. Now, Gabe Morales is the home umpire, and he's pointing at Devin Mesoraco, calling interference, presumably. But when an umpire points like that, he's really saying the same way you would point on B type of obstruction. What should have happened in that play is that the batter is automatically called out immediately, dead ball called, game over. As it turned out, Mesoraco caught the ball, so there was no controversy at all. But anytime you see that play in front of home plate, if you're old enough, you remember Ed Armbrister.
Ed Armbrister.
And Carlton Fisk.
Carlton Fisk.
And the big World Series against Boston.
That was the World Series that the Red Sox won 3-4. They keep saying that, right?
They say that, yeah.
Pudge said that right afterward. One of the greatest lines ever was before the World Series started, and everyone was saying how great Johnny Bench was and how great Pudge Fisk was. They're both Hall of Famers, both tremendous. And Sparky said, don't ever compare anybody to Johnny Bench. And that is so true. John Moscott once again back to the top of the lineup, facing Carpenter, who flied out, bounced out. 0 for 2. Hit deep to right, going back. Bruce looking up. Forget it. That's off the back of the bullpen, and Carpenter has his second home run. A leadoff home run in the 5th, and we're back tied again. It's 3-3. That's the first hit by any of the first 5 batters in the Cardinal lineup today. They've been 0 for 10. But boom here.
Not quite center cut, but good enough for Carpenter. You know, Carpenter's a guy that never looks like he ever swings trying to hit a home run. But he'll get his share.
You talk about Cozart staying in the middle of the field. That's what Carpenter does. But if you make a mistake, he'll turn on it. He does for his second homer and 11th run batted in. So here's Piscotty, popped up, flied out, 0 for 2. I'll measure that one at 403 feet to the back of the Cardinal bullpen. Piscotty up, they'll overshift to the left side against him. That's a bouncer down to third. And foul. Off the back of Moscott, but picked up by Phillips, and that'll take care of the runner. Piscotty nailed it first. There's one away. It'll go 1-4 to 3. Like it might have glanced off the back of his glove or even his side. And Phillips there with the shift to make the play. One away, and here's Moss, who's 0 for 2, reached on an error and struck out. Now the lineup that Mike Matheny's put together today features most of his bench players, and if there's one difference in the Cardinals from last year to this year, Chris, it is the bench. I mean, you look at Brandon Moss, Matt Adams, Jed Jerko, 3 guys who most of the time will be coming off the bench, but all of them have home run power. So late in a game, they'll be dangerous when they're not starting.
Well, late in the game, they're already dangerous from a bullpen perspective. If you don't have the lead, they can shorten the game. But, you know, the amount of power, it gives you a different dimension, you know, to have the able to look at the bench and bring off a guy like Moss, who not only has some power, but he's a veteran. and he's proven that he's had power. I think he had 3 consecutive years in which he's hit 20 or more home runs. So this is a team that is put together to win right now. And they keep doing it. You say that year in and year out. Seems like you've been saying that for a decade.
And they're at their best here at home. Not only did they win 100 games last year, they won 55 here at the new Busch Stadium. The Reds trying to steal a series from the Redbirds here in their first meeting of 2016. The last time the Reds and Cardinals have matched up in the last 20 series, the Cardinals have won 16 and the Reds have won only 4. Full count, 3-2. Brian Price knows full well these numbers too. In games when the Reds have had a chance to win a series, they are 2-14 in final games of 3-game series at Busch since the start of the 2003 season. That's the old Busch and the new Busch. Swing and a miss in the dirt and tagged out. For the second out is Moss. And don't forget, follow Cincinnati Reds baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and a whole lot more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball, on your phone and on your tablet. This is the 10th anniversary year of Busch Stadium 3. And it's the 20th anniversary year of the Bill DeWitt ownership group here. I mean, Reds owner Bob Castellini was once a part of this ownership group, and really, if truth be known, back in the Marge Schott era, Bill DeWitt tried numerous times to get Marge Schott to sell the club to him. And if it had happened back then, you really figure that Bob Castellini and Bill DeWitt would have been co-owners of the Reds. Marge never would entertain that. And she eventually, of course, sold her interest to Carl Lindner. But he tried multiple times to get Marge to sell the club to him. He's done a tremendous job here, just as Bob Castellini's done in Cincinnati to reinvigorate baseball. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in a 3-3 game. 2 hopper down to short. Cozart, quick flip, got him. That'll do it. Damage with the homer by Carpenter. We're tied at 3. New ball game as we go to the 6th. Improve your game by tuning into the Golf Zone. PGA Pro Jimmy Hanlon has terrific tips and reacts to every weekend's tournament. Get inside the Golf Zone with Jimmy Hanlon tonight at 8 on Fox Sports Ohio.
We got to get a hold of Jimmy Hanlon because, you know, he promised Jim Day a set of clubs, and Jim Day needs them. And I'm wondering if Jimmy Hanlon right now maybe has that steel wool out, just trying to scrape the rust off of those set of clubs he's going to get ready for Jim Day.
The old wood shaft ones he saved for him.
Yeah, they're still, put some new grips on those, JD. You'll be fine.
Looking forward to it when we get through Cleveland. Of course, I'm not good friends with Steve Flesh. You get those PGA clubs, those tour clubs, Chris Welsh.
Well, you're not left-handed either, so.
That's a good point.
We all have a handicap.
My handicap is my swing.
Hey, you're heading to New York. Got some good golf planned for NYC. Hit hard towards the hole. That's past Garcia. A base hit for Phillips. Brandon robbed of a hit on a great play by the center fielder Grichuk in the first. Reached on an error in the fourth, and here a leadoff hit in the sixth.
You got to really love the way the Reds are swinging the bat. I mean, I know they're finding holes. That one could have easily been at the third baseman. It gets in the hole over there. They did have the shortstop up the center a little bit on that. But now Jay Bruce, who, after getting his first hit off of Walker, has hit the ball very hard both times up.
Again from the stretch is Waka. Bruce lined to right and then ripped one back through the middle that glanced off Waka. Waka picked it up and threw it away. Bruce had an infield hit out of it. And our steel power tool performers, the top run batted in guys against the Cardinals among active players. Brandon's there at 77. Bruce is there at 66. And of course Ryan Howard, a St. Louis native, is on that list too with the Phillies. That base hit off the back of Waka was the first ever for Jay Bruce against Waka. He had been 0 for 22. Short lead for Phillips. He's got 2 stolen bases this year already, not going.
You know, Waka last year, when he won 17 games for the Cardinals, his fastball averaged 94.5 miles an hour. Averaged. So there were games he was throwing 95 and 96. Other games he was throwing 92. He has not reached that yet this year. Now, a lot of theory is that you're going to get throwing harder as the year goes on.
Bruce didn't like the call. Right spot for Waka, though, and it's a call, strike 3. Here's another look.
He's throwing more breaking balls, it seems like. This either a slider or a hard cutter at 90 miles an hour. That's probably a cutter. But it had some depth to it.
So 1 out, runner on, and here's Mesoraco. Mesoraco bounced to third. And single to center to knock in what at that time was a go-ahead run at 3-2. Reds swinging the bat well, and you can see the last 2 days Mesoraco swinging the bat well too. Hit the ball hard twice yesterday, including a double, and hard twice today.
Kind of interesting, really, that Waka and John Moscott were taken in the same year of the draft. Waka was taken first round. Moscott was taken in the 4th round. Waka was taken in the first round in the 19th spot, and that is important.
Here goes Phillips, and he is out. Fryer unloaded that pronto and nailed Phillips, trying to steal his third base first time this year. Phillips has been cut down.
He really had to deal also with Mesoraco a little bit on the follow through on that swing. It looked like Mesoraco's body momentum took him right in front of the catcher. No batter interference. A perfect throw by Fryer. But I say that about Waka because that when he was taken in the 19th spot in that first round, that was the spot afforded to the Cardinals from the Angels because Albert Pujols ended up leaving from St. Louis to go to California. They also had another spot later on in that first round, but boy, they made good on that free agent pick. Looking forward to this year, the Reds will pick I think 3 times in the first 40 picks in the June draft. So there was something to look forward there also.
Including the 2nd overall pick. That gets away from the catcher Fryer. The throw down to first in time. So outstanding inning by Fryer. He gets the job done. The Reds still tied in this one. It's a 3-3 ball game. On Sunday, April 24th, take advantage and save with the Family Sunday ticket offer. Enjoy live mascot races, face painters, games, and a whole lot more. Plus, thanks to College Advantage, all kids 14 and younger receive a Reds super themed fathead. For tickets, call 5133-REDS or visit reds.com. Here in St. Louis, 3 runs, 7 hits, an error for the Reds. 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Redbirds. The Reds have left 3 on base, the Cardinals 4. And we're knotted as John Moscott goes back to work here in the 6th. Matt Adams, Jed Jerko, and Garcia due up. George Grant, Chris Welsh, Jim Day. JD will be checking in momentarily. Great to have you with us, and great to have our crew on the road as well. Josh Hall, our producer. There's a hot shot to second. Phillips will take care of this and throw out Adams. So Phillips takes care of the Reds, the Cardinal first baseman, and that one almost trickled off the lip of the grass too. He's already been charged with 1 error today on a play like that. Josh Hall, our producer, with us. Roy Alfers, our director. Kevin Penowitz on this part of the trip with us. Lauren White doing some graphics for you to keep you up to date on what's happening. The guys back in Cincinnati will be putting a capper on this one. Hopefully another smiling side of the scoreboard, and Reds victory in the series by the time it's all over with Reds Live postgame. Brian Giesenslaw, Jeff Pecoro, Kent Dreamweaver, Ron Millinor, as always, keeping you up to date on all that's happening around Reds baseball and around all of baseball. There's Jerko. His homer in the 2nd tied the game at 1, his 2nd of the year, and he bounced to short 2nd time up. JD, you talked to John Moscott after he came back and joined the club. It's been great to watch the way things are going. I know he was really pumped up, and we saw Tim Melville. He had the emotion of coming back to St. Louis where he grew up, and there was emotion for John Moscott coming into today too, wasn't there?
Really is, George. He had the chance of his baseball lifetime, as I talked about in the pregame show last year, and it was cut short in Detroit in that really weird play. It was a blessing that it wasn't his throwing shoulder. And then the intercostal injury in the spring, it set him back. He felt like he was just a bad luck pitcher. So there were some emotions coming into today, but he is putting those aside, and so far pitching pretty well for his first time out.
What'd you see from him during spring training? You were there the whole month of March to the end of the month and the end of spring training.
Well, he's a guy that just goes about his business quietly and works very hard, just pounds the zone with strikes. And they always talk about his versatility and the amount of pitches that he throws. And he's just a hard worker. And I know I say this about a lot of guys, but he's just a quality young man. If you talk to him, you really like him.
Hard down to third. Suarez has it. A rocket throw across the infield. And there's 2 away. By the way, Blake Wood is starting to warm up in the Reds bullpen if needed, and Matt Bowman is warming up in the Cardinal bullpen as well.
It just goes to show you how throwing quality strikes, how far that can take you. If that's the only strategy you have as a pitcher, you care less about how much your breaking ball pitch goes or how hard you throw your fastball. If you just concentrate on throwing quality strikes, you can go a long way. And just compare the start today by Moscot to Melville the other day. I mean, they both have very similar stuff. In fact, Melville might even throw harder than Moscot, but it's all about locating the pitches where you can in the strike zone or just a little bit off the strike zone, and you're going to get some success.
Garcia is saying the ball hit me. And he's looking around saying, can we challenge this? Please.
I think they can challenge.
Yes, they can, and that's where he's looking into the dugout. And
yeah,
they
it
will
looked like
challenge it.
Matheny reached out and kind of pointed to his ear saying, put the headset on.
And really, that was prompted by Garcia. He looked at Matheny, and Matheny nodded to him, and then Matheny turned around. The guy who's on the phone, by the way, is bench coach Chris Cincinnati all the way, David Bell. It's great to see David when we come here.
Love that guy.
Boy, and he's going to be a major league manager someday. His brother Mike, another one of Buddy's sons, with the Arizona Diamondbacks running their minor league system. The family's done well. Take another look.
Watch the pant leg, right? Well, that didn't take long. The guys at Central Control saw that, the same thing we did, and they got that one right.
So a challenge, and they ruled that he was hit by the pitch. Overturned. And down to first goes Garcia, and that'll bring up Fryer, who has 2 more hits and continues to be perfect for the season. A double and a run batted in the second, and in the fourth, a single to center field. Five for 5 on the season. So Moscot from the stretch. And you wouldn't be surprised to see Garcia off and running here. Jeremy Hazelbaker has moved into the on-deck circle with Waka due up next. I mean, Fryer's had a great start. Hazelbaker's had a matinee idol kind of start in his first year as a Cardinal. And it's 2-0.
Well, Fryer's had big league time before. He's had cups of coffees a couple of different years with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 3 separate seasons, including last year for the Minnesota Twins.
Little bigger lead for Garcia down at first now. Not going. That's a strike. Moscot's due up third in the 7th, so he's probably realizing that this may be his last inning as well. Runner not going, and breaking ball misses. So it's 3-1.
Well, Fryer's one of those throwbacks, isn't he? He's one of those rare players nowadays that does not wear a batting glove on either hand.
Like Matt Carpenter. Runner not going, and it's ball 4.
Well, you know, we could see a little fatigue coming in right here with John Moscott. I'm not sure how far Brian Price is going to go before he comes to get him. It looks like he's coming up the dugout steps now, because he hasn't really had that much. He's only had 2 rehab starts, and most he ever pitched was 5 2/3 his last time out. So a very encouraging outing overall for John Moscott. Let's hope the bullpen's able to slam the door.
102 pitches from Moscott. Hazelbaker will come in to pinch hit, and Blake Wood will come in from the bullpen while the pitching change takes place. We'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Time for our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Jim Day, we're knotted in a 3-3 ball game here in the 6th inning, bottom of 6. John Moscott has pitched outstandingly, 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs allowed thus far. He'll exit after 102 pitches, give way to Blake Wood, who takes over. Chris.
Blake Wood got that win, the 2nd game of the year against the Philadelphia Phillies with 1 shutout inning. That was his first win since 2011, when he had a win with the Kansas City Royals. We've said it before, last year spent the entire season as a closer for Indianapolis Indians, AAA affiliate for the Pirates. Fastball forker, you see the fork ball right there, or the splitter, crams in between his middle finger and his ring finger. That's his off-speed pitch.
He'll face the pinch hitter for Waka, the pitcher, Jeremy Hazelbaker. Boy, what a start Hazelbaker is off to for the Cardinals. He led the league in hitting at .480 before yesterday. He did not start yesterday, pinch hit and struck out. Now at .406, 3 homers, 7 knocked in for Hazelbaker. Had an 8-game hitting streak snapped by the Reds. That's why, and it's 2-0. So a hit batter and a walk have put 2 runners on, including the go-ahead run sitting at second for Hazelbaker. Been a magical 2 weeks for Hazelbaker, a career minor leaguer, 7 years in the minor leagues. Bouncing back and forth from organization to organization, and at times close to being out of baseball. Line drive right at Kozar. Zach right in the right place. The Zacuum takes care of it, and 2 runners stranded. We're still tied going to the 7th. For our Honda game summary from St. Louis, Zach Cozart stretches his hitting streak to 8 straight with a leadoff double for the Reds in the first. He later scored on a Joey Votto sacrifice fly. The Reds had an infrequent lead against the Cardinals 1-0. And Jed Jerko's had a heck of a series. Ripped his second homer of the year with 1 out in the second. That tied the game at 1, and we knew we were in for a good ball game. The Cardinals would take a 2-1 lead. The Reds would come back to tie it in the 4th inning. Devin Mesoraco, who has swung the bat well the last couple of days, rips one into center field to give the Reds a 3-2 lead after 2 errors in the 4th inning. So that lead didn't last long, though, because to start the bottom of the 5th, Matt Carpenter clubs his second homer of the year. That ties the game at 3, and that's where we are. For the Reds, John Moscott goes 5 2/3, 5 hits and 3 runs. Waka goes 6 innings, 7 hits and 3 runs, only 1 earned. And taking over now for the Cardinals is Matt Bowman, Chris.
He's a Rule 5 draftee, and kind of interesting that the Cardinals would have one on their team. Normally, contending teams can't offer a Rule 5 draftee because you got to keep them all year long. But Matt Bowman has done very well so far. 25 years old now. Spent the last 2 seasons pitching in AAA.
Another Ivy League product.
And it's probably a situation where a lot of people would not think that you'd see Matt Bowman right there. I mean, oftentimes, you know, the Rule 5 draftee on a pitching staff is usually the last guy on the squad, and you don't put him in a high leverage position. Here you are, tied game, rubber game of a 3-game set.
Mounts it down to 3rd in the dirt, scooped and held on to by Adams. Matt Adams digs it. Duvall is retired, and there's 1 away.
Ball to throw across the infield like a dying quail.
Good job by Adams to pick it to keep the leadoff hitter off base. Here's Schebler, intentionally walked and then struck out up for the 3rd time. Pitcher's spot due up next. Pacheco's moved into the on-deck circle. Bowman out of Princeton. Of course, Ross Ollendorf, another Princeton and Ivy League product in the Reds bullpen. Aren't many left. Matt Young,
weren't many to begin with.
Oh, the big tall right-hander. Hit hard but foul down the first base line.
Well, Bowman went to Princeton, supposedly, George, because it gave him the rare opportunity as a college player to be able to play 2 positions. He could play shortstop and he could pitch, which if you go to a big D1 school, you've got to be a very special player to be able to do that. Not too many 2-way players out there.
Ronnie Darling was that. Darling was also an outstanding football player in college at Yale. Inside, missing, and it's 2-2. Pop foul and out of play. Cingrani loosening in the bullpen for the Reds, and Kevin Sechrist warming up in the bullpen for the Cardinals. That with the lineup ready to turn over, and of course Votto in the number 3 spot. The lefty Kevin Sechrist. But down to short. The throw will be in time by the slimmest of margins, and peering at Freddie Benavides is Schebler saying, "Do you think I beat it? Do you want to? What do you think?" Got him. Reds, of course, have challenged with Brian Price and lost earlier in the game.
And the umpires are looking in. I'm glad that they're giving him a look anyway. What Major League Baseball is trying to do this year is to limit the amount of time that a manager has. And they're saying, 10 seconds is about enough. So get your guy on it right away. And it seems to have been working pretty good so far.
Well, here's Jordan Pacheco to pinch hit in the pitcher's spot. Rip towards left. It'll be 2 hops towards the warning track. Backhanded by Moss. Rounding first, going to second is Pacheco. He'll be in there. So the go-ahead run is in scoring position for the Reds. Back to Zach Cozart at the top of the order. Good at bat for.
It just goes to show you, as a pinch hitter, you've got to be able to be ready to swing that bat as soon as you come out of the on-deck circle. I mean, a lot of these good pinch hitters. Lenny Harris comes to mind. I mean, that guy loved the first pitch fastball like nobody's business, and that's one reason why he has more pinch hits than anybody else.
Out comes Mike Matheny. He's had Sechrist loosening. He'll make a pitching change, and while the pitching change takes place, we'll take time out for these messages. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. On TV, you can now stream Reds games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Reds wherever you go. Stay in tune with the Reds all season long on Fox Sports Go. Here we are, 3 runs, 8 hits, and an error for the Reds. 3, 6, and 2 for the Cardinals. Kevin Sechrist in for the second time in the series. Chris, his 6th game of the season. He has been solid in the bullpen for this club the last couple of years.
Well, he has so far. Last year he made 81 appearances. The year before that he had 37 or so at the big league level, 48 overall, but he missed 2 months with shoulder and elbow problems. And the workload last year, I mean, 81 games, that's a massive number of games, and he's a guy that Mike Matheny likes to lean on a little bit.
He's facing Zach Cozart, who's 1 for 1 against him.
Now, when we saw him earlier in the series, he came in for only 1 batter. So that might be the plan for Sechrist this year. Use him often, but don't wear him out in any one particular outing.
Came in to face Jay Bruce, and Bruce flied out to left against him. From the stretch with the go-ahead run sitting at second, pretty good speed in Pacheco. Swing and a miss by Cozart. Cozart today doubled in the first to stretch his hitting streak to 8 straight. Then later scored on a sacrifice fly by Joey Votto, and in the 5th he singled to left.
I'll tell you, that last pitch, just a nasty fastball. I mean, Cozart had to get out of the batter's box and say, wow. If he throws him another one like that, not a whole lot you can do.
No balls, 2 strikes. Pacheco off second. And he got him on the inside corner. Sechrist strikes out Cozart. The Reds strand a runner. They've stranded 4. And we're still tied at 3. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Now the Reds have gone places on this road trip. Chilly Chicago to almost balmy St. Louis, the city by the arch and by the river. It's been beautiful weather for 3 days as spring has finally come to the Midwest in Cincinnati all the way to St. Louis, and they're trying to get out of town with a series victory, which has been few and far between for the Reds. In the last 20 series, the Reds are 4-16 against the Redbirds. They got a chance to pull this one out, and it's going to be up to the bullpen to do it. We're tied at 3, 3-8-1 for the Reds, 3-6-2 for the Cardinals. Here's Tony Cingrani, Chris.
Looked really good yesterday. Cingrani came in, pitched 1 inning, got him 1-2-3.
They'll face Matt Carpenter at the top of the lineup. Carpenter flied out, bounced out, and then drilled a 400-foot homer to the back of the bullpen and right to tie the game at 3 in the 5th, and that's where we are right now. Piscotty and Moss are scheduled to follow. Piscotty in the on-deck circle. Tony Purin in for his sign. Against Carpenter. Carpenter 5 for 13 in his career against Cingrani. That's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The Reds' plans are to use Tony Cingrani as that left-handed specialist out of the bullpen. Of course, when he's on top of his game, that high fastball doesn't matter whether you're lefty or righty. But the key to being a lefty or a loogie, left only one guy, is to come in and be able to get that breaking ball over. That's probably a new pitch for Carpenter to see from Cingrani.
Pop back the other way to the left side and out of play. 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, most managers these days would love to have 3 lefties. The Reds have only 1, and it's Cingrani. And the hope is that a couple of the righties, when they are right, are just as effective against lefties, and that'll be a.
That's what managers say when they don't have any lefties at their disposal. I remember Bob Boone saying that.
Yep.
Oh, I'd rather have a right-hander with good stuff than a lefty with bad stuff. That's because they didn't have a lefty with bad stuff.
When you got to roll this Chapman, he gets lefties or righty, don't make any difference out. But that's unique. Did he go? No, says the third base umpire. So it's a 2-2 count. I mean, you would hope when Jumbo Diaz is right, he could get lefties out. He's struggled of late, though.
I just don't think it's the same. I always go back to the bullpens that Tony La Russa would have, and even if you had 2 left-handers that weren't all that great, he at least had 2 or 3 of them there, so we have a little balance down there.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Carpenter. Missing inside. You know, on the other part of it too, when you face a team that has a lot of left-handers, you can burn one. You know, you're not afraid to use one in the 6th or 7th inning, knowing that you may have somebody coming off the bench that you need a lefty for in the 9th.
Well, the minor league pitching coordinator for the Reds now is Tony Fossis, and he was one of those loogie pitchers that lasted a long time, just by being able to flip it up there against lefties and throwing it for strikes.
Not the way you want to start. A 3-2 walk to Carpenter. So Carpenter's on, and here comes Piscotty.
Right fielder, Stephen Piscotty.
Cingrani wanted the call at the edge of the strike zone. Called a ball 4, so leadoff hitter on in the 7th. Here's Piscotty 0 for 3. Pop up, fly ball out, and ground out. A moderate overshift against the number 2 hitter for the Cardinals.
Well, those 2 guys you're looking at right there at first base, 2 of the best eyes in the National League, or 4 of the best eyes in the National League. I mean, those guys know the strike zone.
That's a strike.
I can just hear it now. Votto said, where was that pitch? Carpenter say, maybe a 32nd of an inch outside. And Votto would say, really, that much, huh?
Skied into short center field. Who's going to get there? Phillips will. The runner goes halfway. Brandon hauls it in. Good out for Cingrani, and that'll bring up Brandon Moss.
Left fielder, Brandon Moss.
Now remember, on the bench for Matheny at this stage of the ball game, he's got his regulars Molina and Holiday. Hazelbaker he's already used. He's got Colton Wong, the left-hander, but Matt Holiday, big home run power. Molina, right hand side, and of course you got Diaz, the rookie shortstop. Moss today reached on an error by Phillips and struck out twice. Moss against Cingrani, 0 for 2 in their matchups. Short lead down at first for Carpenter. With a double play possibility, a moderate overshift to the right side. Cozart behind the bag at second. Center field hit a ton. Back is Schebler at the warning track. He'll have room and hauls it in. All the way to the second base bag was Carpenter. He'll retreat to first. He got in on him just a little bit, and that was enough to keep the ball in the ballpark, Chris. Oh, here comes Grichuk. 2 fly balls and a ground out today, 0 for 3. With the exception of the Carpenter home run in the 5th. The top 5 batters in the lineup for the Cardinals have only that 1 hit. Well, the Carpenter home run, the only production from the top of the lineup for St. Louis. Cingrani to the stretch, Carpenter off first. Here comes Grichuk. Way out in front for strike 1. No one throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Sechrist, who struck out Cozart to end the 7th, you figure will be back in the 8th because Votto is due up 2nd and Bruce due up 4th. Cingrani to the stretch. In on him, popped up. Can anybody get there? Here comes Bruce. He will get there. Good job by Tony Cingrani after the leadoff walk. So the Reds go to the Batwing. Bruce due up 4th. Votto due up 2nd. Thanks, Chip Picoro. Thanks, Brian Giesenslaw. We'll be waiting for your report after this one. Hopefully it's a smiling scoreboard you're reporting on. Here's Eugenio Suarez to face Sechrist, who stays in. Suarez single to center back in the first, was picked off, flied to right 2 times. 0 for 1 in his career against Sechrist. Sechrist will then face Votto. Joey 0 for 9 in his career, and Bruce, who's 2 for 14 if they get that far. So that's why he's still in there. Sechrist ahead 0-2. Joey sacrifice fly play to the Reds' first run, and twice has lined out, once to right and once to second. That against Wacha. Wacha pitched 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of them earned. Even though Wacha was not at his best today, Chris, he still is right where he usually is. He usually gives up 1 run or fewer to the Reds, and today was a similar story again.
I guess the only difference really for Wacha today was that he was not given a lot of runs with which to work like he was normally given last year. He was 3rd in the league in most runs given to him last year as their pitcher.
Carpenter gobbles it up. Suarez tossed out. 5-3 put out number 1 of the 8th inning, and here comes Joey.
First baseman, Joey Votto.
This is always a good matchup.
Yep.
Sechrist, one of the premier left-handed relievers in the league, and of course Joey Votto, a guy that hangs in there against left-handers about as well as anybody in baseball.
The big tall lefty to the stretch. Joey steps in. That's up high for a ball.
And I really believe that, and it would only be natural, as good as Sechrist is, he tries to elevate his game even a little bit more when Votto steps in.
Foul to the left side and out of play. They'll play him straight away in the infield. In center field, Grichuk about 3 steps towards left center and down the right field line. Piscotty a step towards the line. So Joey steps out and measures where they're defending him and steps back in for the 1-1 delivery. Fryer behind the plate flashes his signs. That's wide. Again, and it's 3-1. Reds scored a run in the first on the double by Cozart. The sacrifice fly by Votto. Cardinals wound up tying it on a home run by Jerko. 1-1. Joey fouls this off.
Boy, nothing but good old-fashioned hard ball from Sechrist on this. No breaking ball so far. He's given Votto 2 fastballs over the plate, and both of them fouled off to the left side. Sechrist was not always a flamethrower. In fact, in high school and junior college, he was a soft tossing lefty.
Nice setup. Down and away again, and that's a strike. A call, strike 3. Votto shakes his head, doesn't like the call.
Well, our Fox track shows it right on the corner. Had a little comeback action right there, and as hard as he throws, you blink of an eye and the ball is by you. Sechrist comes under that category of finding a diamond in the rough, because when the Cardinals drafted him, they got him in the 41st round in 2008 out of a junior college, Palm Beach Community College in Florida. When he came out of high school, that was the only school that showed any interest in him at all. Little did they know at that time that his velocity would go from 85 to about 95 over the course of just a few seasons. Grew into his body. He's 6 feet 5 inches tall, and nearly, well, they've listed under 200 pounds. He looks bigger than that to me.
There are no Reds hitters that have more than 2 hits against Sechrist in their career. Phillips is one of them. Brandon in his career 2 for 9, 220 against Sechrist. Hardy on the fastball, and it's 0-2.
I mean, you can call that good scouting and all that, but the bottom line, it's luck. Not for Sechrist. I mean, I'm sure it took a lot of hard work to get where he is, but just for the Cardinals to, at that point in the draft, 41st round, you're just filling out your rookie league team with some bodies, hoping that somebody pans out. And boy, did he ever.
Now it's the components are drafting, yes, but development is just as critical as drafting. Once you do draft a player, you get what you get, and then some may overachieve individually, but as an organization, if you're going to get better, you've got to get the most out of those that you do draft, or you do sign as free agents, or you do trade for.
Well, the scout for the Cardinals that saw him said that he compared him. He said he had flamingo legs. He was barely shaving, and obviously he was just a late bloomer. And there are a few of those out there.
0-2. You know, we've talked often about it, Chris, the great Red Scouts that we've been around, and you know, we remember Jeff Barton, who we lost this past year. We send our condolences to his family. But Larry Barton, who was brilliant. Gene Bennett, who you and I sat with so many times, saying that the key to scouting is to find out what a player can do. Don't criticize what they can't do. Look for the ones and find out what they can do. And the good scouts are the ones who can see behind the obvious what the potential of a player is. They provide that look, and then the second part of the equation is your development people. Can they get that core of the player to be the best player that they can be? Those are the great organizations. That's what made the Reds such a tremendous organization, and the Cardinals too. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Phillips hanging in, battling against Sechrist. Got him. Well, a strong inning for Sechrist. A ground out, 2 strikeouts. We go to the bottom of 8, still tied at 3. Adam Jerko Garcia due up. To the next Super Saturday at the ballpark, April 23rd. Thanks to John Morrell, the first 25,000 fans receive a Votomatic Super bobblehead. For tickets to see your Redlegs take on the Cubs for as low as $12, call 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com today. Well, back in St. Louis with Matt Adams scheduled up, Tony Cingrani still in the game. They will pinch hit with the young shortstop Aledmys Diaz. So the right-hander will face Cingrani. They'll pull Cingrani and go back to the bullpen. Ollendorf is on his way in. We'll take this time out. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Here's Ross Hollendorf ready to face the pinch hitter Diaz, the shortstop, Chris.
Well, Diaz we've seen in short sample size here in this series only, but a quick bat, plenty of power, can run well, covered in well as shortstop in the first 2 games in the series.
Not backing out of play. Hollendorf, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Reds bullpen with only the 1 lefty as Cotham, Wood, Straley, Ollendorf, Jumbo Diaz, and Hoover from the right side. The big wielding right-hander misses the corner there, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now he's got that old-fashioned big delivery, big step back and hands over the head and so on. And we don't see that very much often anymore, but I imagine that Diaz from Cuba has seen just about every different delivery in the world. I mean, because they're inventing them over there, right?
Hey, I'm sure. You were watching it. A lot of Reds fans were watching last night. Johnny Cueto pitching for San Francisco in Los Angeles last night. Johnny had a perfect game into the 5th inning, ended up pitching well, and he threw everything but the kitchen sink at the Dodgers. Now that's a leadoff walk, 2nd straight reliever for the Reds that has issued a leadoff walk. Cingrani walked the first batter he faced in the 7th, but got out of the inning, and now Ollendorf's going to have to work from the stretch and do the same. There's Jed Jerko. Jerko homered to tie the game in the 2nd at 1 and bounced to short twice. Ollendorf to the stretch. Short lead for Diaz. Not going. Pitch missing wide. Not by much, but a little wide for ball 1. Now remember, we hit the last 2 innings of this game. Holiday and Molina are available to pinch hit. So is Colton Wong. 3 starters out of the lineup today for the Cardinals. That's a strike, 1-1. Swing and a pop up to the right side. Can Phillips get there? He's got a long way to come. He does, and they're in fair territory. Is out number 1. Brandon pulled towards the second base bag for the double play. Had a long way to come, peering up into the sun, but hauls it in. Now here comes Garcia, the shortstop. Ollendorf's been around, Chris. He provides, veteran leadership in a bullpen with a lot of young players, and he and Mesoraco getting their act together, ready to deal to Garcia.
Well, he does, and what you're looking for out of a guy like Ross Ohlendorf is an even keel. And hopefully you know what to expect when he comes out there, which is throwing strikes.
From the stretch, Garcia off first. Strike at the low part of the zone for strike number 1. Garcia today reached on an infield hit, single to right, and then hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. He's been on base all 3 times. Little bigger lead down at first for Diaz.
Garcia's got some bloodlines in baseball. Grandfather Dave Garcia managed the Angels and the Indians, and his dad Dave was a first-round pick of the Yankees in 1978.
Maybe one of our most enjoyable trips every year was going to San Diego and seeing Grandpa Dave, who talked about all of his grandchildren, but around the San Diego ballpark he was there almost every night. What an outstanding manager, coach, and baseball man. That's down and low.
Actually, you could have stopped that story right at the word San Diego. It was only, you know, a little bit of icing on the top to get to see Dave Garcia.
One of the best third base coaches ever, too. Talk about rolling through signs. Runner not going. Slap foul the other way. Ball and 2 strikes to Garcia. Cardinals took game number 1. The Reds hung on for a win in game number 2, and this one's knotted up at 3. Bottom of the 8th in St. Louis. This one blooped to center. Long run. Will anybody get there? How about Cozart? He made it look easy. He turned around and looked twice, and he saw that Schebler wasn't going to get there. Kept chugging and hauls it in. Battling the sun, looking right back at it, and to prevent a base hit that could have put runners at 1st and 3rd.
Really athletic play. I mean, if you've got any questions about Zach Cozart's knee, I mean, you've seen him play the first 3 weeks hitting unconscious, but his defense as good as ever.
Good to see him back in the lineup every day. Not just what he does on the field, but what he brings to this club. Here's Fryer. Fryer's 2 for 2 in a walk. No one's gotten him out yet this year. 5 for 5. A couple of runs batted in. And today the double in the 2nd gave the Cardinals a lead of 2-1. With a pitcher spot due up next, one of the 3 big bullets the Cardinals have left, Matt Holliday in the on-deck circle. This one's heading to the alley. It's going to go all the way to the wall. They're going to send the runner from 3rd. Here comes Garcia. Diaz, rather, and the throw will be late, and the Cardinals will take the lead 4-3. How about Eric Fryer? Fryer is 6 for 6 on the season, and he's given the Cardinals a lead here in the 8th inning.
Well, he is killing his favorite team, watching as he was growing up. That is a huge hit right there. The leadoff walk set up this double with 2 outs. And Diaz comes all the way around from first base. Man, oh man.
Well, the walk comes back to burn the Reds here in the 8th. The double plates a run. Cardinals have the lead, and there's another run sitting out at second base for Holliday, who'll pinch hit.
There was only 2 walks in this ball game while the starters were in.
Fastball misses inside. It's 1-1.
Walker walked 1, and Moscot walked the last batter he faced.
Holliday had 2 home runs in the first game of this series. spend a good deal of his time in his normal left field position, but some at first. Cardinals will rotate Adams, Moss, and Holiday down at first for most of this year. 2 balls, 1 strike to Holiday. Fastball foul back, 2-2. Well, the Reds will have to mount a 9th inning rally. Bruce due to lead it off when we go to the 9th. Mesoraco and Duval schedule will follow. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Mesoraco will tag him, and that'll do it. But the double by Eric Fryer, who's had a remarkable start to this season, has given the Cardinals a 4-3 lead. Last roundup for the Reds. Bruce will lead it off. Home, and don't forget, get ready for Reds action for tomorrow's game against the Colorado Rockies in every game 30 minutes before all Reds game. For all the info you need for Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And check it in for tomorrow. If you join us, it'll be Alfredo Simon in his 2 starts this season, an 0-1 record, and he even had a relief appearance here in St. Louis. Jordan Lyles will go for the Colorado Rockies. Well, the Rockies come to town, and the Reds will try to keep their home magic going. Coming into today, the Reds are 5-1 at home, and they hope to continue that winning streak when they head home. And they hope to still steal a series from the Cardinals. They'll have to do it against the tough closer, though, Chris. Trevor Rosenthal comes in for St. Louis. He'll face Jay Bruce.
Oh, you're right. He's armed with a triple-digit fastball. Rosenthal, one of the hardest throwers in baseball. 48 saves last year. That was good for 2nd in baseball, number of saves, and 45 the year before.
Bruce bounces it down to 2nd. And there's your first out of the 9th inning. Jay today, line to right, reached on a single, struck out, and that ground ball out to 2nd.
So far in the year, though, it hasn't been really all that easy for Rosenthal. He's thrown a lot of pitches outside the zone. He's walked 3 in 4 innings.
Garcia's moved to 2nd. Diaz is the shortstop. And Jerko moves to 3rd. That's your defensive alignment for the Cardinals, with Carpenter moving over to 1st. So a new defensive infield for the Redbirds here in the 9th. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mesoraco. Mesoraco in his career 0 for 5 against Rosenthal. Down the right field line, but fouling out of play. 1-2. Talk about power arms in the game. Everybody talks, of course, about Aroldis Chapman, Kimbrel, But this guy's right at that same level, Chris. He comes at you pitch after pitch.
Well, I think, though, George, having seen Aroldis Chapman like you have for several years in a Reds uniform, there's a separation. There's Chapman.
He's in another world.
And then you go down a ways, and then you can group the rest of these guys together. Now, there may be a few pitchers coming up that could be like Chapman, but still, nobody quite like Aroldis.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and in the dirt. Mesoraco today bounced out, singled in the Reds' go-ahead run in the 4th to give them a 3-2 lead, and he struck out in the 6th. Lightning from that right arm, and there's 2 away.
How about that, coming back to back breaking balls right there? He bounces one in the dirt about 55 feet. And Fryer calls it again, says, I know you got a better one than that. And he does, and gets a swing and a miss from Mesoraco.
So here's Adam Duvall. He's the last hope for the Reds. Doubled back in the 2nd to stretch his hitting streak to 7 straight. Popped up right side, but out of play. And bounced into a double play and bounced out. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Reds, 4 runs, 7 hits, a couple of errors for the Cardinals. Reds trying to stay alive here in the 9th. Schebler on deck. Rosenthal last year set the Cardinals save record with 48. One better than the great Lee Smith, who had it at 47. Hanging in there, staying alive is Duvall. Third sellout of the year, 46,000 plus on their feet in St. Louis, and Rosenthal closes the door on the Redbird. Victory here in St. Louis. Well, the Reds got to Michael Wacha and had a lead for a good part of the afternoon, but in the end, the Cardinals battle back. Eric Fryer continues a remarkable start to the 2016 campaign. Matt Carpenter homers. And for the Reds, Chris, Michael Wacha held him in check, but John Moscott equaled him. 5 2/3 of pretty good baseball. A good first start for John Moscott.
Well, certainly something to build on. I know disappointing for the Reds not to be able to win this rubber game in this set here in St. Louis, but St. Louis has been over the years a very difficult place for this Reds team to win.
A whole lot more to talk about from St. Louis. Cardinals have won this one 4-3. Back with more after this.